Andrew Gray from Reuters. A quick question just in case, Secretary-General, you have any information on a military object that was found in a forest in northern Poland. It's obviously NATO territory. I wonder if you've heard any initial reports about the cause of that. And then more broadly, for both of you, do you believe that allies have done everything possible to give Ukraine a chance of success in its coming expected counter-offensive? And in particular, on ammunition, have allies dug deeply enough into their stocks as you would wish them to? Thank you.
So allies have provided unprecedented military support to Ukraine, both equipment, weapon systems, but also vast amounts of ammunition, and we continue to do so. We have delivered modern air defense systems, advanced artillery systems. The United States have delivered HIMARS, and now we have also delivered a big number of armored vehicles, including battle tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, and other types of combat vehicles. So in total, this gives the Ukrainians 9 brigades, which now are well-trained, well-equipped, and well-manned. And this is what makes them, what provides them with the military support and the capabilities they need to retake more territory. Then, of course, we should never underestimate Russia, because what the Russian forces lack in quality, they try to make up in quantity. And we see that Russia continues to mobilize more personnel. We have seen around Bakhmut how they are willing to send in thousands of troops with very high casualty rates. But of course, it continues to challenge also the Ukrainian troops. We have made it clear that we will continue to support. We will stand by Ukraine for as long as it takes. And at the Vilnius summit, I also expect allies to agree a multi-year program. We will work on how to help Ukraine to move from Soviet standards, equipment doctrines to NATO standards and doctrines, and to ensure full interoperability with NATO. So we will continue, and we met just last week and discussed at Ramstein specific requirements for how to continue to provide military support for Ukraine.
Concernant le matériel, le Luxembourg n'a pas de cave ou de grenier où était stocké du matériel ancien ou qu'on a pu mettre à disposition. C'est pour ça que nous avons aidé financièrement et nous avons laissé aux Ukrainiens le choix du matériel dont ils ont besoin. Donc ils ont commandé et on a payé les factures.
Associated Press.
I have a question for both of you, Mark from Associated Press. President Xi and President Zelensky recently spoke on the phone. Do either of you want to see China mediating peace talks?
It is for Ukraine to decide what are the conditions for talks and what formats any talks should have. What we know is that any likelihood, any possibility for meaningful negotiations requires that Ukraine has the necessary military strength to send a very clear message to President Putin that he will not win on the battlefield. So maybe this war will end at the negotiating table, but what we know is that what happens around that negotiating table is inextricably linked to the strength on the battlefield. So if we want a peaceful negotiated solution where Ukraine prevails as a sovereign independent nation, the best way of getting there is to provide military support for Ukraine, exactly as NATO allies are doing. I welcome the call between President Zelensky and President Xi. I think it's important also that China gets a better understanding of the Ukrainian perspectives. This doesn't change the fact that China has not been able to condemn Russia's illegal war, illegal invasion of Ukraine, and NATO allies have expressed strong support to President Zelensky's peace plan, which includes, of course, full respect for Ukraine's territorial integrity.
Je pense que l'échange téléphonique qui a eu lieu...
Good morning. We'll have opening statements by the Secretary General and the Prime Minister, and then we'll have time for 1 or 2 questions. Secretary General.
Prime Minister Bettel, dear Xavier, it's great to have you here. Welcome, and it's good to see you again. It's a pleasure to meet with you, and Luxembourg is a highly valued NATO ally and a long history of stepping up to support NATO allies and NATO missions and operations. You contribute to NATO's multinational battle group in Romania, helping to deter aggression. You are also at the forefront of NATO's innovation agenda, leading our work on space surveillance and investing in critical satellite capabilities. And Luxembourg also provides important financial, humanitarian and military support to Ukraine. I also welcome Luxembourg's strong support for NATO's climate change and security agenda. So, Prime Minister, we just discussed Russia's brutal war of aggression against Ukraine. Last week I visited Kiev. My message is clear. NATO stands with Ukraine for as long as it takes. So we must stay the course and continue to provide Ukraine with what it needs to prevail. I thank Luxembourg for your generous contributions to NATO's Ukraine Fund. This is providing urgent support, including medical supplies, mobile satellite systems, and pontoon bridges. Overall, through the contact group led by the United States, NATO allies and partners have provided unprecedented support to Ukraine. More than 98% of the combat vehicles promised to Ukraine have already been delivered. That means over 1,550 armored vehicles, 230 tanks and other equipment, including vast amounts of ammunition. In total, we have trained and equipped more than 9 new Ukrainian armored brigades. This will put Ukraine in a strong position to continue to retake occupied territory. At the Vilnius summit, NATO plans to step up for Ukraine with a multi-year program of support. We will also continue to strengthen NATO's deterrence and defense, and we will address burden sharing. Because in a more dangerous world, we must invest more and better in our defense. I welcome Luxembourg's investments in major equipment and multinational capabilities, such as NATO's new fleet of tanker transport aircraft. I also welcome that you have increased defense spending, but I encourage you to continue to step up defense spending. This is key for a fair burden sharing between North America and Europe. So, Prime Minister, thank you for our excellent discussions and for Luxembourg's valuable contributions to our alliance. So please, you have the floor.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Secrétaire Général, pour l'invitation et aussi pour